Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Forever Cash Life Real Estate Podcast, where we talk about all things cash, cash flow, and particularly one of our favorite subjects is land flipping. Today, our guest, Valerie Odom, is going to share with us how she got to land success. So we'll get started in just a second.
Welcome to the Forever Cash Life Real Estate Investing Podcast with your hosts, Jack and Michelle Bosch. Together, let's uncover the secrets to building true wealth through real estate and living a purpose-driven life.
All right, so let's get started. So I'm super excited. I have my guest here today, Valerie Odom, here with us. Valerie, how are you doing?
Doing great.
Doing great. Fantastic. Great. So you're in Atlanta, Georgia, right?
Yes.
And you are one of our land flippers.
I am.
That is fantastic. So tell us first of all a little bit about yourself. Like, give us a little bit background, give us a little bit stories of who you are, what brought you to land flipping, and so on. Just give us a little bit of information.
Let me see. I've been in real estate, selling real estate and doing real estate investing for about 20 years. And so I was one of those persons who would buy a house, fix it up, and rent it out. And I had probably about 10 or 11 houses, and I got divorced about 3 years ago. And for some reason, my ex-husband got all of the houses except one.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So this has always been my passion and what I like to do. So I just wanted to kind of find out how I could do it. And one of the things I learned when I was buying those houses is that I just felt like the bank was making all the money in the deal. Like I was still paying off those houses. And so I just was looking for something that I could find that would help me to, maybe buy some houses cash or just have some cash and not have to give it all away to someone.
Absolutely. So that's a great reason to get started. But you got to find your cash machine. So then you came across us, right? And then you got started with us. Now you got started and you got into our coaching program, correct?
Yes.
So and also you went into the 2-day maximizer session.
I should do.
Right. So you took a 2-day maximizer, land profit maximizer workshop. Now, how was the maximizer? What do you think about it?
I thought it was great. It was kind of a review of some of the things that I already had been learning. But it was nice to actually meet other people that were involved in it. And I made some relationships there where, I'm still in touch with those folks and we talk back and forth. It's kind of nice to not be so isolated, to have somebody you can sort of bounce things off of. And like I said, it was just very motivating because once I got back, I was really kind of amped up.
And did you feel with the knowledge you had about how to use the system that you were better prepared afterwards?
I did. I really did. And I just had more faith in it. Like before I was kind of just sort of like, okay, maybe this is going to work. But then I met so many people that were like gung-ho. They were like, oh, this works. There was no hesitation. They were like, no, this is going to work. Just keep doing it. Okay. And so that gave me more confidence.
Fantastic. Yeah. Now, right. Wonderful. So that's great. And then you advance to the coaching program. And then overall, as it's in your, what happened since? How many deals have you done since now? How much, and how did it all unfold?
Okay. So my first deal, like I think the first week where I got my deals, I got like 6 properties. It was really strange, but great. And the first deal that came through, a gentleman, he wanted to sell me 4 properties. And I think the properties were probably worth about $38,000 altogether. And he sold it to me for $6,800.
Okay.
And so the first deal that I did paid for all the other properties. So I've sold 3 of the 4 properties. I got 1 left. And so I've made money off of each of
The
those.
first one paid for all four already. Isn't that beautiful? So you basically, because you got them for like less than 20% of market value. So then you sold the first one, paid for all of them, and that's beautiful. And then you sold the other two. Okay, that's exciting.
Yes.
And then so congratulations. So and then and then since then I think you were talking. Before we went live here, we started talking about a deal that was a really big deal or so. That
Yes. So I had sent the letters to a county that I was second guessing sending the letters. And my coach Warren was saying, because I was saying, well, these properties are too expensive. I'm not going to send my letters because I'm going to waste my money. And he said, well, why are you saying they're too expensive? I said, well, for some reason they're valued. I put in them the values that were suggested, but what I got back were these properties that were worth $1 million, 900. And so he said, well, you've already done the research. He said, why don't you just test it out and see? So I did. And a lady calls me, and her property was assessed value was $900,000. And she had a realtor already, and they had been trying to sell the property. And what I found out was the property they had been working on selling it for 15 years. So I got it, and I had to negotiate with the realtor, and I was saying to Warren, I was like, why on my first deal is this coming through? This is just too much. I don't know what I'm doing. He's like, yes, you do. Just follow the steps. You know what you're doing. Just keep talking.
That's where the power of a coach comes in, that you can actually get you through those mental hurdles and to the steps of like, what do I do now? What do I do now? Right?
Yes. So he was really good, because there were things that came up, like they wanted to do an option, and I didn't really understand the option. So I, emailed Warren, and he was good about getting back to me quickly because it was moving very fast.
That's right.
So we did an option, and I ended up selling it. I think the realtor was very impressed, because she was like, gosh, so many people came to see the property. And I had done the neighbor letters, and all kinds of neighbors were coming out of the woodwork. And and I ended up selling it. I didn't end up selling it the typical way. The buyer that actually came through wanted to do seller financing. But of course, I didn't have $700,000 to do it. Right. So the seller allowed me to help her set up the mortgage note, which we did through the title company, and she paid me a big fee. So, yes.
Fantastic. How big of a fee?
$15,000.
All right. Hey, that's thing. Yes.
Yeah.
And sometimes, for considering this is one of your first deals that you've done with all those different tentacles, do you think you would have been able to do that without coaching?
I don't think so. I mean, I think it would have been a disaster.
Right, and that's so you would have walked away. You would have never noticed that you lost money, because you would have not lost money. But that's so often the case that people say, like, well, is coaching going to make me money? Well, yeah, because more than anything, it's going to also help you get deals done that you otherwise wouldn't have been able to get done. Right?
Yeah, so that pretty much almost paid for my coaching right there.
Right. Right. So that's fantastic. So that with the others together pretty much paid for coaching. So right there. And then now how has, I don't know if your life yet has changed, but how have you changed? Has something in your life changed because of this? Do you walk to the world differently because of this, or?
I am. Like, I didn't realize how much of it was going to be like a spiritual journey.
Okay. No, I totally get it. I'm with you. Right. Yes.
I just I listened to you on Facebook, and, you were talking about fix the well. And I kept saying, I don't understand what he's talking about, fix the well. And then I started to listen to my own thoughts, and how sometimes I would talk to myself negative and say, oh, I can't do that because, or I'm not going to answer that call because that's a waste of my time. They won't want to do it. And then I just started saying, okay, that's my that's something negative that's kind of holding me back from really doing what I should do.
Right.
I need to just answer the call and see what's going to happen, you
Right.
know? And so I started learning that I did have some negative thoughts that I needed to really work on.
Yeah.
And so I just,
That is so important. I mean, that it's really, particularly coaching, but in the 2-day workshop we do that too. But overall, it's like it's so important to get through those mental blocks and hurdles of things that you're like, oh, they won't accept anyway. Well, how do you know, right? Unless you make the offer, they don't. And if you don't have somebody that challenges those and keeps you moving forward, it's hard to do. So I love that you call it a spiritual journey, because it really is. It's like when you build success, you have to grow in order to fill the shoes that are there in front of you to fill, right? In order to complete the mission that you have set up, that the you that wants to do this and the you that then ultimately does it are different yous. You grow in the process, right? Is that right?
I believe that. I mean, there's a lot of things ways that you have to step out of your comfort zone. And I didn't really realize that. I just kind of felt like I would just do things and it would all get done. But there's a lot of things where you kind of come up against resistance and you start procrastinating and you don't want to make a decision because you're thinking maybe you might make the wrong decision or you're fearing failure. And it's kind of like you got to continue on, even though you know that, I mean, it's a possibility it may not work out. But I've started to kind of be more in the mindset that, it might not work out, but it might. And if it doesn't work out, I'll probably learn something from it.
Right. That's a beautiful growth step right there. That's a lesson learned right there. So great. So then how does the future look like? What are you looking for in the future? How many deals? What's Valerie's life going to look like right now going forward?
Well, my I think I probably sold about 10 deals now.
Okay. Fantastic.
And so I would like to kind of pick up the pace and maybe expand a little bit. I actually got a virtual assistant. And so
Fantastic.
she's been helping me, and I seem to be able to handle a little bit more with her on board. And I'm just, I'm wanting to take it to the next level. So
right. That's exactly the process how it goes. The first part is getting that first deal done, then multiplying and building your systems out, and then scaling the thing up. So you run that at your own speed, but basically for you it's been how many months right now? 8-9 months or so since you've been in this.
I started in the middle of December. So.
Okay, middle of December, and so. By now, it's about 8-9 months. So that's a great thing. 10 deals, 8-9 months, money from coaching back multiple times over, and you're starting to now scale this up to make this the only gig you do, probably, right?
Yes, it definitely is. I was a realtor, so I still have people calling me asking me to help them with their properties and stuff. So I'm trying to kind of scale that down because it takes so much more energy and work to make $1 over there than it does over here. So I don't want to pay out money, but I'm like I'm starting to trying to have to balance it and move from one log to the other, I guess.
Right. Wonderful. Well, great. So what would you tell somebody who's like on the fence right now and decide on wanting and thinking about whether or not they should do this or whether or not they should jump into this? What would be your advice to them?
Well, I mean, I would say, research what's out there and how everything works. Because I was thinking about before I got into this, trying to go back to flipping houses, and it was just so much competition out there, and you had to mail so many letters, and it was a lot of investment. And, there's investment in this as well, but it's just not on the same scale. And the results come so much faster. And you're also not, when you are flipping houses, you're looking at, if you get a call from someone, you got to get up right from the dinner table and run and try to get that deal. And this is a little bit, the pace is a little bit more manageable. So,
Right.
you can work with people and you can build a little rapport with them. So if they end up getting a letter from someone else, they still want to work with you. So,
Right.
I just feel like it's a little bit more manageable lifestyle wise.
It's
And
all built around our lifestyle. It's all built around that we were started with thick accents. I still have a thick accent, but it's probably a little less than when it was back then. But we were like, how do we do this? And I was traveling 100%. I couldn't get up from the dinner table to go meet anyone. It's all designed such that you can do this at your time. That we come home on the weekends. I would come home from a weekend from my job, and we would make offers over the weekend, right? We'd look at properties. I would make offers at midnight at night if I couldn't sleep or so, or if I had to work late at a job. And you can't call by somebody back. You can't meet somebody in the kitchen table at midnight, but you can make your offers with this when you can fit it into your schedule. And that's you pointed out the very, very big piece that I think a lot of people underestimate because they just think like, well, there's the steps, but these steps can be done from the comfort of right where you're sitting with the door shut without seeing anyone any day of the week or day or night or whenever you want. And it really makes things easier. Yeah.
It does. And I mean, I feel like, when you're looking at what you're going to do, you kind of have to really look at, okay, what's the return going to be? If the return is going to be, I'm going to get into this house and have to get a loan for $150,000 and I might make 20 or 30. It's just, there's just no comparison between, sending out a letter and not putting down any earnest money and making a deal with them and then flipping it. So, I mean, there's other expenses, of course, that go into
right. There's a few other basic expenses like a mailbox and some mail and things like that. But yeah, fantastic. Well, thank you very much, Valerie. That was awesome. I'm so excited about your success. I'm so excited. Like when our students are graduate from coaching, we know that they're doing deals, but then when we catch up with them, and you're basically just graduated right now, right? You just graduated right now. That's how we knew that you're doing the many deals. And now, guess what? The year fast forward, you probably do 50 deals a year. Make sure you keep letting us know what you're doing. Make sure you keep us in the loop because nothing makes us happier to see all our students out there doing so fantastic. So with that said, thank you very much for being here with us today. Thanks a lot, Valerie.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Right.
Enjoyed this episode? Then make sure you like, subscribe, and post your comments and questions below the video. We're looking forward to hearing from you.